You were told it was a tropical paradise where your pension would go further than ever before. However, that dream was actually a calculated Cold War PSYOP designed to turn dusty rice paddies into a geopolitical buffer zone.
Now, thousands are trapped in a legal nightmare, owning land that is not theirs. What if your retirement plan was actually scripted by anti-communist propagandists decades ago? Behind the serene images of rural Isaan lies a dark history of manufactured consent and village surveillance. Stop dreaming of that cheap villa in Thailand until you see the secret history of the land you are buying. For years, cynical propaganda has rebranded poverty as pastoral bliss to lure foreign capital into Isaan. Do not sink your life savings into a trap built by intelligence agencies to fight a forgotten war. Let us talk about the village chief who knows exactly when you last had guests and why that matters more than you think. The architect of the Isaan myth. Now, settle in, pour yourself a stiff drink, then let me tell you the real story behind those glossy brochures. Picture the 1960s. The world is terrified of the red tide, communism sweeping through Southeast Asia like a plague. Thailand's northeast region, Isaan, is a poor, drought-stricken and strategically sandwiched between Cold War tensions. Besides, in Washington, some clever chaps in suits are rubbing their hands together thinking, how do we stop those lovely rice farming folk from turning communist? The answer? Propaganda. Glossy, cinematic, toe-tapping propaganda. The United States Information Service, the USIS, for those keeping score, rolled into town with cameras rolling and a mission to make Isaan look like a vibrant frontier of freedom. They produced films like The Community Development Worker in 1963, which paired black and white footage of beaming villagers with jaunty moorland music. The lyrics? Oh, they were a treat. They basically told the locals to stop being lazy and work together to improve their community rather than wait for government handouts. One can almost hear the narrator. Look at these happy industrious peasants. Absolutely nothing to see here, comrades. I mean, friends. Here is a question I want to leave hanging in the air for a moment. If the propaganda was so effective at convincing locals, what exactly was its real purpose for Western consumption? You see, these were not just feel-good movies. They were psychological operations. Mobile information teams fanned out across the countryside, screening these films to villagers who had never seen moving pictures before. Besides, the message was always the same. The United States is your friend, the king is divine, and communism is the devil. Now, here is the beautiful cynical twist. While these films were aimed at the local population, they also created a secondary effect. They manufactured a myth. To Western eyes, those smiling buffalo herders and endless rice paddies were not symbols of grinding poverty. They were symbols of pastoral bliss, of an authentic life unspoiled by modern anxiety. The Americans and their Thai allies did not just build roads and air bases, they built a fantasy. Besides, that fantasy, my friends, would come back to haunt the very people who created it. The high price of anti-communist real estate. Fast forward a couple of decades. The Cold War is winding down. The US bases are being mothballed, and some enterprising property developers in Bangkok are rummaging through old USIS archives. They stumble upon these pristine images of Isaan, the rice bowl of Thailand, the land of smiles, and a light bulb goes off. George, one says to the other, what if we sold this to the Farang? The veterans, the retirees, the chaps who saw these images during the war and thought it looked lovely. Thus began the great property marketing campaign of the 1980s and 90s. Brochures were printed, flights were chartered, and the propaganda was recycled. Dusty, impoverished villages were rebranded as authentic cultural experiences. Scrubland that would not grow a decent weed was marketed as prime real estate with potential. The dream was simple. Sell your house in the West, buy a mansion in Isaan, and live like a king on a modest pension. Nevertheless, let me tell you what those brochures conveniently left out. They did not mention the high-interest grey market loans. They did not mention that affordable luxury often meant building on land that floods every rainy season. They did not mention that the local builder's idea of a septic tank was a hole in the ground that occasionally erupts like a mud volcano. What's more, most importantly, they did not mention the legal mirage. The legal mirage of ownership. Here is the kicker, the part that makes me want to throw my teacup against the wall. Thailand's land laws are, to put it charitably, xenophobic. The Land Code Act of 1954, reinforced during those paranoid Cold War years, explicitly prohibits foreigners from owning land. Full stop. You can lease it, you can build on it, but the dirt beneath your feet will never ever be yours. Now, you might be thinking, but I have heard of loopholes. USIS, company structures. Ah, yes, the loopholes. Let me deconstruct those for you. A usufruct, fancy word, is it not? Gives you the right to use the land for a period of time. However, it is not ownership. If the Thai spouse who owns the land decides to divorce you, or, heaven forbid, passes away, the usufruct becomes a piece of paper with very little power. The family can contest it, and you will be left with nothing but a legal bill. Then there is the company route. You set up a Thai company with Thai shareholders holding 51%, and the company buys the land. You are the director, you are in control, right? Wrong. The Thai shareholders can vote you out. The government can investigate you for nominee status, and suddenly your retirement plan is in the hands of a local lawyer you barely trust. These legal headaches are not a coincidence. They are a direct legacy of the Cold War era, when the Thai government, with American encouragement, reinforced xenophobia land codes to keep foreign influence at bay. The very same propaganda that lured you inconveniently omitted the part about how the country would never truly trust a foreigner with its soil. The micro-reality, surveillance, and the village fishbowl. Now, let us move from the macro to the micro. from the legal horror show to the daily reality of life in rural Isaan. You arrive full of hope, imagine a tranquil existence. You have seen the videos of gentle locals smiling in the rice paddies. You expect privacy, peace, and perhaps a nice spot to read your book. What you get is a fishbowl. Welcome to the world of the TM30. This is a form mandated by the Immigration Act of 1979, which requires the house owner to report the presence of any foreigner staying at their residence within 24 hours. That means if your mate from back home comes to visit for a few days, you had better report it. If you go to Bangkok for a weekend and come back, you had better report it. The village chief, the modern-day eyes and ears of bureaucracy, dreamed up by the 1960s counter-insurgency experts, is required to keep tabs on every single foreigner in his jurisdiction. You might think you are a free man. I often tell the young pups who wander into the local pub, but the village chief knows exactly when you bought that bag of rice and who you were with when you did it. It is not malicious, not really. It is just the way things work. The community is interconnected, and you, my friend, are the shiny new thing in the neighborhood. Every purchase you make, every car that enters your driveway, every visitor who stays too long, it is all noted, discussed, and filed away in the mental ledger of the village. The culture shock is profound. Westerners, accustomed to their privacy and autonomy, find themselves living under a microscope. The gentle local stereotype meets the harsh reality of a state-supervised community. The propaganda never showed the village chief peering through his window making notes. It only showed the smiles. The modern fallout of a manufactured dream. So, where are we today? What is the legacy of this manufactured dream? Take a drive through the Isaan countryside and you will see them. The ghost houses. Shiny two-story villas sitting empty, their gardens overgrown, and their swimming pools filled with green sludge. They are the tombstones of fouled dreams. Now, with the economic shifts of 2026, the fluctuating exchange rates, the tightening visa regulations, the global uncertainty, the cracks are widening. Pensions that once stretched comfortably are now stretched thin. Elderly expats, many of them veterans who remembered those old propaganda films, are stuck. They cannot sell the house because nobody wants to buy a house they cannot truly own. They cannot go home because they have burned their bridges and spent their savings. They are trapped in a beautiful, hot, bureaucratic prison. Look, I'm not saying there is not beauty in Isaan. There is. The people are resilient, the food is incredible, and the sunsets can be spectacular. However, it is a complex, hard-working landscape, not a cultured playground for the disillusioned. The trick is to deprogram yourself. Stop seeing the vintage travel marketing. See the region for what it is, a place where people work hard to survive, where politics are tangled, and where the dream of ownership is a mirage. If you come to Isaan, come with your eyes open, rent and do not buy. Besides, never, ever trust a man selling a dream from the 1960s. So there you have it, the secret history of your retirement plan. The Cold War propaganda, reborn as a real estate brochure. The legal traps, the village surveillance, and the ghost houses left in the wake. How to deprogram yourself from the Isaan myth? One simple rule. Treat it like a holiday, not an investment. Rent a house, enjoy the chaos, and keep your life savings in a bank account you can actually access. Do not fall for the lure of cheap land. The only thing cheap about it is the price you paid for the brochure. Now, if you will excuse me, I am off to the village chief's house. I believe he is having a party, and I would not want him to think I am trying to avoid the surveillance. Please be careful. Bye-bye.